Show, please. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. So today, since it's Pet Memorial Day, we're going to read an essay from my book, Discovering Buddhism in Everyday Life. If you're new here or you don't have a copy of this yet, I think I asked them to bring some copies. It's out in the lobby, so please just help yourself. Please help yourself. So this book is a collection of some of my essays that are in our temple newsletter every month. And so we're going to read this about our beloved pet cat, Fluffy. So a farewell to Fluffy, starting on the lower right there. Last month, we lost a member of our family, our pet cat, Fluffy. Fluffy has been with us for nearly 17 years. She has grown up with our kids from preschool until their college years. I can remember the first day she came into our lives. Keiko, my daughter, was about 5 years old and was attending a preschool in Garden Grove. Someone had discarded a litter of kittens at the preschool, and they were trying to find homes for the kittens. Keiko came into our house carrying little Fluffy. She asked me, "Can we keep her?" How could anyone say no to that? I had grown up on a farm, and we always had a pet dog and at least several stray cats who always found their way to our farm somehow. It was an easy decision to keep Fluffy. I don't remember who named her, but I think it was Keiko. Of all of us, Keiko would become Fluffy's closest friend and companion, but we all loved her just the same. If there were 4 laps to be sat on, it was always Keiko's that she jumped on. They would play together and chase each other around the house. Keiko seemed to understand her and was able to communicate and connect with her on almost a cat-like level. When our kids were young, Fluffy was part of the going to bed ritual. Keiko would go to bed first, and Fluffy would lay with her until she fell asleep. Then later, when Ricky, my son, would go to sleep, she would lay with him on his bed until he went to sleep. Then sometimes later, when Gail and I would go to bed, Fluffy would join us with her loud purring. It was like having one of the kids sleep with us. This was an evening ritual that Fluffy continued for many years. Whenever we would go away, we had to ask different people to come over and feed Fluffy and check up on her. When we would return from a trip, she would be at the front door meowing at us, welcoming us home. It still seems odd to come home and not see her in one of her usual spots. Fluffy learned how to communicate with us. Sometimes when we would forget to refill her water dish or her food dish, she would meow and lead us to the kitchen to show us her empty dishes. Other times she would meow next to her litter box as if to say, "Can't you please clean my litter box for me?" I am sure that many of you have a pet cat, dog, bird, or other animal and have experienced how they become a part of your family. It is no less of a loss as any member of a family to lose a pet. After Fluffy died, we had a little service in front of our family Obutsudan, and we chanted the Ju-Seige. I turned to my kids and gave a short message. I said that when we brought Fluffy home, an abandoned kitten, we gave her a home. But ultimately, she gave more to us. Her companionship, her friendship, gave us much more than we ever gave her in a home, cat food, and kitty litter. How wonderful to have your life. How wonderful to live your life and to leave behind more than you took from life. How many humans can say when their life comes to an end that they made a greater contribution to the lives of others than they took from the world? Our little cat loved and warmed the hearts of a family for 17 years. Could I, as a human, even come close to that when my life someday comes to an end? I doubt it. In Buddhism, all beings are regarded as sentient beings. Humans are not regarded as superior to other beings. Humans are merely one of many sentient beings. Animals are sentient beings too. As humans, we stand on the same ground as all other beings, no better or no less. When we stand on the same ground as all other beings, we begin to learn from other beings. We become humbled because we realize that our legacies that we hope to leave behind, like fortunes and homes, real estate and fancy cars, are really not such great things as we might think they are. Can we leave behind a simple legacy, like that of warming the hearts of others when we leave this world? Shakyamuni Buddha and Shinran Shonin left a legacy of no material value. Their legacy was of spiritual value. They not only warmed the hearts of others, their teachings and their way of living illuminated the hearts of others. They left a legacy of light that illuminated their hearts and minds and illuminated the hearts and minds of countless others. Those individuals then illuminated the hearts and minds of others, and they too illuminated the hearts and minds of others. And on, this light of the Dharma has been transmitted. Fluffy teaches me that what a person can give to the world can be something so simple, but yet so significant, so meaningful. To give warmth and light to others, that is something our pets give to us. It is something our loved ones give to us. It is something that the Buddha gives to us. If we can live our life and transmit even just a flicker of this life, if we can transmit just a few degrees of warmth, then our life would have been most worthy and valuable. Okay, so that's my essay on Fluffy. So we have another cat now. We call her Toby, but Fluffy always has a special place in our hearts and minds. So I thought we could talk about pets or whatever today, but if anyone has a memory of a pet or something that they learned from their pet that they'd like to share, we can open it up for a discussion. Anyone have any thoughts or comments? John? Turn the mic on. Is it on? No. Oh, green? Can you turn the volume up in the AV room? Try the other mic that Janice has.
Hello?
Okay, there you go.
Hello, everyone. So my comment isn't related so much to pets, but as much as it is the simplicity. I woke up this morning to an email saying that this group was looking forward to me attending their transformational retreat in Monterey. And I would have housing and food for 6 days and meet with this transformational speaker. And I thought, this is great. But I emailed them and asked, was this a glitch? Because I had never applied for it. And they said, it is. We're so sorry. So I had spent a good 10 minutes or so imagining how great my life could be if I was to go on this retreat and open up all these new ventures. And then when I saw that didn't happen, I went, oh, well, I had been wanting to just be all right with what was around me already. I wasn't losing out on anything. I was just being excited about what could be, but that was just my mind creating things. And I was thinking my goal for the new year is to live a boring year, a quiet year, because we never ask cats to level up or get better or work on their potential. They just are, and we appreciate them. So I'd like to learn from that.
So John, then you had to settle for coming to OCBC today because you didn't get to go to the... But that's okay. Nice to have you here today.
Thank you.
Thanks for sharing that. Anyone else? Oh, John over here. Oh, Ron over here. John.
Thank you. I just want to share something about our cat. It's a stray cat. It's feral cat.
Yeah.
We called her Blackie. She's a female cat, and we've had her for about 13 years. She never came into the house, but she was always stay outside, in our backyard and come to our door. And then she had a habit of sitting on. We have a 8-foot block wall fence. Wall really around our house. And every day almost, she would always sit towards the sunset on one special spot. And it looked to me like she was really, I guess, meditating or whatever, because she was really at peace. And, seeing her like that would calm me down. Make me realize, the day's finished. And so I should try to clear my mind and also relax,
Uh-huh.
and not think of anything. And watching
Uh-huh.
her do that really
Uh-huh.
brought me at peace. And
Uh-huh.
I really
Uh-huh.
enjoyed, well, we both enjoyed this
Uh-huh.
cat for as long as she came.
Uh-huh.
So anyways, that was my little
Oh, yeah, thank you.
take.
Thank you, John. Anyone else? Yeah, Jim? Oh, go ahead and use it too. It might help a little bit. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The first, the first time that impermanence broke in on me was when I was 11 years old, and our dog was killed, hit by a car. So
Uh-huh.
that was kind of a turning point, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think about that dog a lot. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it reminds me of actually our first pet growing up on our farm in Eastern Oregon was a stray dog that came onto our farm and just had short legs, so we named the dog Shorty, and then kind of became the farm watchdog. And it's amazing how these dogs comes to know our own cars. So if we come into the farm or one of our workers, he doesn't bark. But if a strange car comes into the farm, then Shorty's barking and letting us know there's a stranger present. But we all grew up with Shorty, and then when Shorty died, the whole farm stopped work. We're at busy harvest time. The whole farm, we stopped work, and Shorty died. So we all gathered in the orchard. Our workers dug a nice grave, and that was my first funeral I ever, actually really had an impact on me. And we buried Shorty, and the whole farm. It's our beloved dog. Okay, anyone else? Thoughts on parents, or even about the Mitsuo Aida poem that I shared, your ancestors and. Oh yes, Hector. Can you wait for the Can you wait for the microphone? Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Uh-huh.
We have a cat named Pudge,
Uh-huh.
and it's really interesting to see, like when you give a lot of love, then
Yeah.
the animal kind of gives it back, and it's
Yeah.
really nice to see that he grew up in a really loving home, and he's very trusting. And so I came home one day from work, and my neighbor said, "Your cat got into some stranger's car," and I said, "Oh no," because we take him for car rides sometimes, and he goes around the block with us. And so our neighbor, she gets Meals on Wheels, and so the car stops by in front of the house, comes out quickly, gives out the meal, and comes back in. But when he got out, the cat went in. And so the cat's trying to leave for his next route, but he couldn't because our cat was like, "Let's go for a car ride." And so he's a very friendly cat. And sometimes it does worry me because I'm like, if he gets into strangers' cars, it's, I guess, too much love. But yeah, so.
Did that person know which house to go back to return the cat even?
No, they went back to my neighbor's. They assumed it was my neighbor's cat. But my neighbor knows the cat, so she was like, "It's my neighbor's cat." So she took him. But he was ready for a car ride.
A great story. Anyone else? Thoughts, questions, or comments? Adding on a little bit about the monarch butterfly, so I checked a little bit. So actually, the one circuit is when the butterfly leaves from, let's say, Mexico, okay, and then makes its way up to further north, and then lays eggs, and then that becomes a caterpillar, then that becomes a butterfly. Then that butterfly in the, what was it? Anyway, then some months later begins the journey, as it starts to get colder, begins the journey back to the south, and then partway along the way stops, lays eggs, that becomes a caterpillar, that becomes a butterfly, then that generation then goes further. And so it's the fourth, so those butterflies, they don't have a very long life. But the fourth generation butterfly lives much longer, like actually months longer, and makes that journey back to Mexico. So 4 generations, then later, within this 1 year circuit, that fourth generation butterfly makes it back to, let's say, Mexico, returns to the same tree, lays eggs, and that becomes then a caterpillar and then a butterfly, and the cycle starts over again. It's just astounding, just astounding how they know innately sort of where to go and their cycle of life. So you see butterflies and you don't even think much about their life and what it takes for them to sort of perpetuate themselves, but it's quite amazing. Anyone else? Any thoughts or comments? Oh, you're, uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. Oh, really? Oh, so that's kind of one of their destinations, is that part? Oh, really? Wow, wow. Uh-huh. Yes. Can you wait for that microphone? Uh-huh. Yes, yes. Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. We have to be related. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Right. So yeah, ultimately we all have we're all connected. If you keep going back further and further and further, that's the very sort of origins of life. Yes. Uh-huh. 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 Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's something I forgot to mention in the Freddie the Frog talk was, so we have generations here, but I was going to have Freddie mention how, so this is hopefully, even for people who come here as individuals, single individuals, that hopefully our Sangha is like another second home, and then you can meet, you have your own spiritual ancestors that you meet here, like Sachi Ochai is like the great grandmother of OCBC, spiritually nurturing the rest of us. So I hope that OCBC has that kind of meaning for our new Sangha member. Anyone else? Yeah, that's right. Right.
I remember when I was going to university, my teacher had told me about her previous teachers and then traced it back to Pablo Casals, which I thought was really cool. And I was like, wow, so my teacher had
Right.
learned from this famous cellist. So
That's
it'd
right.
be really interesting to see, like, whatever it is that your hobby is or your interest may be, to trace back where you might have gotten that information from.
Right. So doesn't matter what the field is. If you're in music, you have your music teacher, and that music teacher was inspired by a previous music teacher, or maybe going back to great composers like Beethoven or whoever. And in sports, kids all have their mentors and athletes that they try to strive to be like. So I think it's true in any field. Uh-huh. And Buddhism is the same that way. We have our mentors. Oh, Jane? Can you wait for the microphone, please? Over here, Janice, right in the middle.
Can I ask you what your opinion of is about reincarnation?
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay.
that's what, I'm reading about it, and I said,
Yes.
the literal, like, am I this way because, and karma. That
Yes.
Was,
Right.
somehow my ancestors, I did this,
Yes.
did something bad, or in my previous life, I did something bad,
Uh-huh,
and so
uh-huh,
I'm here, or am I going to be punished here, and I'm going to turn into a toad after I die? So how do you, what
Right.
do you say about
Yes,
that?
yes. Good question. So let me first explain there's a range of interpretation, and there are many Buddhists who take reincarnation very literally. Like in Tibetan Buddhism, the Dalai Lama is considered an incarnate of a previous Lama. So some Buddhist traditions, they take it literally. But in our tradition, I don't take it literally, and this is the way I have been taught, that when Shakyamuni Buddha lived in India, people believed very literally. So if you weren't a good human being, in your next life you might be born in a lower realm, like an animal realm or a fighting demon realm. But Shakyamuni Buddha, in his enlightenment, saw those realms as not outside of himself, but within himself, as psychological states of being. Sometimes he is like a human being, but sometimes if he's angry, he feels like he's in the realm of the fighting demon. When he's greedy, he's in the realm of the hungry ghost. When he's suffering, he's in the realm of hell. So to me, it has much more meaning to take that in a metaphorical sense of showing us our inner life. We're going around and around and around. So the object of Buddhism is to get out of that vicious cycle of these 6 realms of existence. Maybe sometime I'll cover that in an adult discussion. I'll go into it more detail. So we take it figuratively or metaphorically. And so even like past lives, if I knew that I was a rich Egyptian pharaoh in some previous life, that doesn't help my bank account now, right? What impact does it have? I know that, what was her name? Shirley MacLaine, the actress, talked a lot about knowing your past lives and things like that. To me, I don't know what bearing that has on now. We have this one life. And if I think I have hundreds or thousands of lives with which to get enlightened, what's the urgency now then? Give it another 100 lifetimes. No, we have this one life now with which we can come to really receive the teachings to live the most meaningful, fulfilled life in the here and now. So that's how I take sort of reincarnation and past lives, future lives. Karma is talking about the here and now too. Buddhist teachers say karma is a simple lesson. Would you spit straight up in the air? No, it falls right back on you, right? So your actions come back to you. Your actions come back to you. You give a cat some loving kindness, the loving kindness comes back to you. You hit someone, what do you think is going to happen? Bam! They hit you back. See, so karma, in a sense, is quite simple. Our actions have a cause and effect. But good question. Thank you. Nami?
Well, recently the Dalai Lama himself made a statement that perhaps the time has come to let go of the literal understanding of reincarnation.
Oh,
he says,
really?
as society evolves and we have reached a certain level of sophistication, both scientifically and philosophically, that reincarnation is lost its luster. I mean, it doesn't. Your spiritual heritage does not have to be genetically traced. It doesn't reincarnate traced. It could be anyone can become a leader. So I thought that was that was a very big thing to say. But I think it's because they're afraid. Well, one reason is because they're afraid the Chinese will do their own search for reincarnate.
Of the Dalai Lama?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And then, but I think he's really smart to say change happens. We don't have to hold on to the old traditional ways of thinking in order to be accepted more by the masses of people.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Maybe you have to look for that article or something, and we can even read that in a future adult discussion. Anyone else? Thanks, Nami. Okay, maybe we'll close for today and give everyone a chance to visit the nice boutique outside. So we'll close with Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you, everyone. And then once again, the adult Jim's going to make this.
So I've been handing out a few flyers. We're very fortunate. Next Sunday, Reverend Dr. Jeff Wilson is coming here from Toronto. Toronto, Canada. All right, so he's a wonderful speaker. I'm sure you'll be interested in his perspective. He's the author of Buddhism of the Heart, which some of you have read, and what he's highlighting in the class. Right, he's our family service speaker next Sunday, English Dharma message. But his class, we're calling the Eitaikyo Seminar, next Sunday, 12:30 to 2, upstairs in the classroom. He calls it Refugee Shinran. As you may know, Shinran spent many years in exile. He and other members of Honen Sangha were driven out of Kyoto. And so Dr. Wilson, I think, is going to share his thoughts on how that connects with refugees today. Okay, a huge crisis, worldwide crisis, the refugees today, and I think Dr. Jeff is going to talk about how that connects with Shinran next Sunday. Thank you.
If you have a question you'd like to see me after class, I'd be happy to speak with anyone. Thank you.